Right, so this is what I have so far. I wanted to show Grace. Right now I'm calling it AK Werevlog. And we're just gonna kind of look at it because I know that you can stop the screen. And I am gonna capitalize on Grace and St. Patty the Great. I'm playing Grace. I've already casted myself. In that case, that means my wife, Linda, will be playing Rainy Love. If Bradley takes St. Patty the Great, then we'll do all the fight sequences after the movie is made. And I'm sure that the scenes, you know, with Bradley Cooper and stuff like that would be fine. He could probably fit right into a UFC fighter. I've got I'll have a dream cast list. If I get my way or not, then that's fine, I don't care. But, you know, the same answer to why I'm playing Grace would be, I think you say Sylvester Stallone or Matt Damon or something like that, because they're the writers of that particular script. Sylvester Stallone wrote Rocky, and they wanted to cast Ryan O'Neal, so Sylvester Stallone said no until he got his way. The reason why the actor does that is out of protection, because he's the writer of that character. So he's the owner of that character, of that movie. So I guess I had Bradley Cooper in mind, and then I think he might be better for small, little supporting, almost a cameo kind of thing, which I think would be fine. I think he could probably work it in his schedule or something like that. I thought about this, it's too personal to me. But I am going to try to get Gary Oldman as the werewolf hunter, Silverfang, known as Gerald Oldmain III. That's one of my ultimate goals. So I'm going to try to get him on with it too. I'm also kind of a big fan of Ghostbusters, so maybe some Saturday Night Live people could play some of the really small roles. There's an Uber driver character. There is a cop character, a couple cop characters. That'd be kind of really funny. I also have my eyes on Bob Balaban for something small, cameo too, if he gets to look at it. Bob Balaban is in The Guy in Close Encounters and Thin Ice and things like that. With Bob, I only liked his acting. I did not know his connection with Paramount, so I had no idea until I researched it the other day. I was like, this guy's basically kind of one of the big dudes in Paramount. Doesn't bother me at all. I thought he was just a small little actor, but he's actually a pretty big deal. That's probably why he took that role so serious. Now this is still in process form right now. I'm doing this because I love to vlog. So I have a lot of different ideas on casting. So I'm open-minded. I do have, when I write, I do think of casting. Yes, Post Malone as John Blacksmith. I thought that would be a good kind of way to structure and organize things. And I thought it'd be good to maybe use him. What page are we on right here? 93, okay, 93 minutes into it. A lot of dialogue, a lot of stuff between John Blacksmith and Gerald Oldman III. A lot of that kind of stuff. And then we're getting to this page right here, page 104. See what page we're on right here, 118. This is a good way to kind of show it. This is probably something I'm going to have on Indiegogo too, to kind of show that there is a script. So I'll literally just be going like this, you know, showing the script. Linda's making lunch. And then I got one more correction to do. I just wanted to make sure we get this vlog here. I've got a lot of things to add too. I've added about 10 pages to it so far. Mostly comedy horror is what it is, with a touch of a fight film in there. So there's kind of got that thing. Okay, there's 27. Okay. All right, there's the original 27. And then we go into 30. going into 32, 132, 133, 134, 135, 138. It's kind of one of those. And I only have notes for the ending on the fight, some of the fight sequence. I just add some dialogue. Here's the final ending. Paramedics, Gerald Oldman, and we fade out. Right now we're on this version 145. Okay. As Jesus Christ loves us, I'm going to go ahead and hit save on my werewolf screenplay. Grace, aka Werevlog, and Linda will finish up lunch, and then I'm going to go out and drop food at your doorstep. It's making chicken with potatoes, butter, and was that red peppers and yellow peppers. I think you're a really good cook. And I ate it up and it was yummy.
Speaking of that, let me get these sauces out of my pocket.
Oh, one more thing. Thank you, Lord, for the food.
Of course. Thank you, Lord, for the food.
And we pray for guidance and protection, and for your love to shower down upon us. And the one and only God, above all gods, the King of Kings, Jesus Christ. What kind of sauce did you use?
Got delicious gray poupon, Dijon mustard.
Gray Poupon. I'll be dropping food at your doorstep. It's very simple, Linda. Sorry, I'll stop talking like very old. Okay, now, you hit the little button, which is the PS button. It's called PS, as in the PS3 button. You hit that, and it ignites. Take the episode you want. Once you put it in there, you take this thing right here. You hit this little home button right here. Boom. That's the home button. That's what I call it. Then you go over to PlayStation. You hit the middle button. Boom. Because that guides it to the PlayStation. Then you're on PlayStation. You take the episode you like, you put it in there, it'll start automatically. If not, text me.
Sometimes it doesn't start automatically.
You're right. It doesn't go automatically, but it did that time. But if it doesn't, you can use this thing to guide it and then hit the X button and boom, you're good to go.
Okay.
That's an inside joke. But some people get it, some people don't. Remember, for mother-in-laws, this is important. Now, starts this way. It'll start, and then when you want to start it, you just hit the X button right there. See the X button? Or, I'm sorry, you hit the start button if it's Blu-ray. I think that's how it works. We'll find out. This one, you can control it with these little things right here. So if it's play all, you can hit the button right here with it, which is the X button. And all of these two on the left will control the direction. The X is right here, so boom, play all. All right, February 6th. And it's 169068. About 74 degrees Fahrenheit. All right, we're headed to the Tavern. Right when we pass these cattle over here. Remember, when you go to the Tavern, park in their parking lot. That way they'll make the food real quick. Trinity River. Right. So I remember kind of observing my actions. One time I parked over here, it takes longer, or back there, it takes longer. You want to park close to the restaurant. And the faster they get you out, the more money they make. So look for signs for the restaurant's parking. For example, Tavern. It's a very high class restaurant. So where can I park? I want to park right here. Very close to the restaurant. Literally. Don't use their valet, but park here. Then they'll have it out very quickly. All right, she said about 15 minutes, so I'm in the right parking spot. And if I wasn't, then it could have been a little bit longer, I'm assuming. But it probably at this time is going to be 15 minutes no matter what. But I always park here because I noticed that one time I parked over further away at Trader Joe's, and it took like a very long time. And I thought, what is taking so long? And then I went around and I parked back in their parking lot, and they were just like ready to go. I don't know why. It could be imagination, but I think it makes a difference. Plus, they can see you and everything when you're parked in their area. They should really just treat you like a customer. I mean, you are ordering, you're paying for it. You should be treated just like a customer. So, you know, if you work for like Grubhub, Uber Eats, DoorDash, any of those types, they should treat you about the same. The idea behind grappling was not upper body strength, it was lower body strength, and it was about arm bars and chokeholds. And so when UFC said that could be the case, then they got a hold of a guy that weighed 170 pounds named Royce Gracie, and they knew he could take any of them out in UFC, and he was the UFC champion for a few years, until a guy named Shamrock learned how to fight in Japan, because he lost to Royce Gracie. And a lot of people think the fight was cheated because he used his head to bash his head and to Royce Gracie's head over and over again once they're both equal in expertise on jiu-jitsu. And they had to stop the fight or Royce Gracie would have bled to death. So that was an homage, a little moment in the scene where he fights one of the fighters is kind of an homage to a little segment of Royce Gracie's life. Other than that, it's not based. It's just a fictional werewolf film. Everybody would do that if they were going to include a UFC film. They would make homage to probably him in one way or another. So, jiu-jitsu is a pretty powerful sport for wrestling. fighting. But when you have a 170-pound guy that will go against any of them and put his life on the line.
Watch out, vehicle on shoulder ahead.
And that's how he got where he needed to go. And when Shamrock finally went to Japan and decided to fight him with his own terms, his own technique, which was known as jiu-jitsu, and got in and found a way to headbutt him over and over again to the point where he'd kill him, then they went ahead and gave it to Shamrock. They finally found someone that was willing to do it. The only problem is it was a dirty fight, and everyone knows that Royce Gracie won that fight. But it did go to Shamrock, just in a way. It was a technical thing. They had to call it because he was going to bleed, because Royce Gracie would have bled to death. So that was a pretty intense fight. They do talk about it in the Werewolf film, but it's only an homage to it, because that happens to a lot of them. So, or used to, but now they've changed some of the rules. So they were the founders of the UFC. You know, Royce Gracie and all those guys were the founders of it all. So why, you know, if you're going to write something with the UFC, you'd have to make an homage to that greatness. Just like Sylvester Stallone made an homage to a fighter, you know, to a boxer as well. It always happens in a fighting film, which it's not. It's a werewolf film. I'm just using an aspect of the fighting film aspect to it. I'm mixing the two. Okay. So anyway, I just think it's an interesting concept. Note to fan of Grace, aka Werevlog. So about 26 minutes in the film, we're watching kind of a fighting film, even though at the very first part of it we see the attack and we don't know what to think of the attack. It'd be like if you were let me try to speak. Okay, it'd be like if you were watching Rocky, and then all of a sudden it's just switched over to a werewolf film at the beginning, and then it switched back to a fighting film again. And then it stays in a fighting film for about 20 minutes or so. Very serious fighting film with the love interest, the whole thing in the ring, all these people fighting each other, and you're just watching it. After about 26 minutes, boom, it cuts back, or it goes into the werewolf film again. So it's almost like two films. So there's a risk on this one, but there's a reason for it, and it's because the character of Grace Lippin is really a UFC fighter. And then later he develops his YouTube show and becomes like a sports kind of jiu-jitsu sports guy on YouTube, you know, like a trainer kind of thing. He still is friends with one of his fighters, or is one of his you know, they didn't know they were friends, but he's still friends with St. Paddy the Great. And then St. Paddy comes back into his life, and then he's actually one of the victims of the werewolf on his motorcycle. You have to read that sequence. So, I don't know. I don't know where it come from. I didn't know where it came from. Don't ask me. It could have been from dreams and stuff. We lived in a place called, Linda and I lived in a place called Mansions at Sunset Ridge. It's right next to kind of like almost kind of like a reservation, but it's like a trailer park. But the actual apartments themselves are luxury apartments. They're really nice. They're made out of wood. I highly recommend them. They're made out of wood and brick and rock. But at night, sometimes we'd hear these coyotes. That was my alarm. So anyway, what I was saying when we lived at Mansions at Sunset Ridge is we would hear these coyotes yapping outside. And I think I was like trying to write like a fighting film, and then all of a sudden I realized, wait a minute, this is a werewolf film. So I just started writing a werewolf film, and then this werewolf comes in, and I put it in the beginning as a kind of a foreshadowing. So ultimately, it's a horror/comedy werewolf film with a touch of a little like a fighting film sequences and stuff. So anyway, that's what I have right now. I'm still working on it. Personally, I don't really believe or disbelieve in werewolves, but I have to say that there was one time I was doing a delivery and there was this weird smoke. It looked like a print in the ground, but it probably had something to do with the plumbing of this one complex, this one apartment complex. So, you know, I mean, it can't really be proven, you know, the whole werewolf myth. But I would, I mean, you know, what side do I stay on? Do I believe in it or do I disbelieve? You know, it's kind of down, I'm kind of down the middle. Same thing with, you know, vampires, because what scientific proof do we have, you know, that they believe, that they exist or don't exist? I would say that probably maybe no, but then there's a book of Enoch, which is a book of Bible that people haven't read. I was given a copy of the book of Enoch when I was in Maine, when I was kind of studying Stephen King and doing some writing of my own. And I did read it, and it does talk about monsters and stuff. I'm not saying that the Bible doesn't mention, you know, monsters. It does talk about a talking snake, you know. But there is a book of Enoch. It's hard to get a hold of, though. Doing the Werewolves of London. Warren something. Song about werewolves in London. That's what I'm listening to. Kind of makes me think how genius I actually am. I hate to say that, but you know, Mozart was that way. But Beethoven maybe not. But Mozart was, he called himself a genius and had a lot of fun, liked to fart. But seriously, it's a good song, Werewolf of London. Warren something, I'll find his name, but he wrote it a while back. It'd be a great cover song to Werewolves of London. I think it's pronounced Zevon, so Warren Zevon was the writer of Werewolves of London. But it goes like, oh, Werewolves of London, oh. It's that kind of song.